a 3-run bomb to get the Rockies within 2. Then Dexter Fowler started to reset the table. And a moment later, Jason Giambi would bring home the tying run, which all led to Seth Smith with 2 on, tied at 9. Here's the 2-2. This time, the Rockies have done it! How do the Rockies follow that up? They'll try next. Oh, what a night last night was. I hope you stayed up for it. The Rockies scored 9 in the 9th and win 12-9 over the Cardinals. Tonight, game 2 of this 3-game set. The Rockies are season best 7 games above 500. And one of the many heroes from last night, Seth Smith, and he's going to have a long line of autograph seekers this evening. Hi once again, everybody. Good evening. I'm Drew Goodman. Last night, another special night at the ballpark. A reminder as to why we love this game so much. Yeah, you have buzzer beaters in basketball, and on occasion, you'll have the Hail Mary that gets answered in football. But in baseball, when it happens like it did last night, you never know quite how it will unfold. And today, we had more reactions from inside the clubhouse.
It's as fine a comeback as I've ever been associated with. But if there's a team that's capable of doing something like this, it's that group in that clubhouse, because they play every single out of the game, and they've been doing it for a long, long period of time.
When he hit it, I was just hoping it'd get in the corner or off the wall or just fall for a hit. We didn't need a home run right there, but that was awesome.
It was fun, exciting, and I even had a little fun running around the bases after my home run, and I didn't get to enjoy that, so I'll enjoy it the rest of the evening, maybe a little bit in the morning, and then, this thing about baseball, we got to come back and try to do it again tomorrow.
Yeah, you don't get to sit and enjoy it for very long, but there was a special buzz in that clubhouse this afternoon.
Well, there should be. After a game like last night to score 9, you only waited since 1901. It's been a while since somebody's done something like that. You should enjoy that, and it was a team win. I think that's the key to it. Chris Iannetta's big homer, the base hits by Gonzalez, Giambi, the run scored by Cook when he went first to third on a base hit and was able to score. Everybody played a role in that game last night. And oh, by the way, forgotten in all this, Manny Corpus, who has been struggling, 2 shutout innings, 6 up, 6 down, and he gets the win.
That's right. Manuel Corpus ended up with the wing, and at the time, you didn't think a lot of it. You said, okay, he had a couple of 1, 2, 3 innings. Jeff Houston, it was a remarkable night. I heard you last night say, in your 25 years as a professional in this sport, you'd never seen anything like it.
No, I hadn't. And what was neat about it is to be able to be right down here by the dugout, to see the reaction of the guys, to hear the fans behind me, because they started to get onto this feeling of, you know what, something special could happen. And when it did, boy, this place was electric with all the fans that stayed for the ball game. I know that some went home, but the people that stayed sure had a good time.
They know who they are tonight. There is news that we have to get to this evening. Todd Helton earlier today was placed on the disabled list, and Brad Eldred was brought up. Brad Eldred's a guy with big league time. In fact, he played in the Pirate organization when Jim Tracy was there. He can hit it a mile.
He can hit it a mile. That's something we have all seen from him, and a lot of RBIs, 64 RBIs. You don't ignore that. I think for him, is there going to be a little nerves? Maybe. But, I mean, he's played at the big league level. He did it with Pittsburgh when he played first base there. Players on the team congratulating him. And again, you can understand at his age and the time he spent in the minor leagues that there is justice in this game. When you put up big numbers, you get rewarded. I think for Todd Helton, it's unfortunate. His back is not loosened up. He's not the same Todd Helton we watched at the second half of last season, and he needs to get it fixed to be the Todd Helton everybody's looking to see.
And hopefully during this period of time, Todd can get the back well, get the hamstring well, and get that swing back to where we know it will get to. So when we come back, we will talk a little bit about the pitching matchup tonight. Aaron Cook against Jaime Garcia, who's been terrific. This game at the highest level. Back upstairs with George Frazier. I'm Drew Goodman. The Rockies will send Aaron Cook to the mound tonight against Jaime Garcia, who's been one of the big stories among young players in the game this year.
Well, you look at all the rookie numbers. He's at the top of everything among rookie pitchers right now. Their earned run average at 210. Second to major leagues. The opposition's hitting just 220 against him. He's been pretty special. Swing and miss slider. That's his out pitch that he will use to both sides of the plate. And it's very, very effective. He came off of Tommy John surgery, had ligament transplant, and he came off in a huge way. Fastball will be 88, 92, 93. And then on the flip side of things, Aaron Cook will take the mound where he's pitched extremely well at home. And I think, watching the game in Anaheim, grand slam early, then it's just 7 beautiful innings. I think he got mad at himself. He got mad at making mistakes. He had making many mistakes lately. He's pitched very well.
Yeah, his last 3 outings have been very good, and Aaron Cook has been special here at Coors Field, not only this year, but really throughout his career. What's in store tonight? Who knows? Don't leave your televisions. Come on back to Coors Field with us. A little bit late this afternoon, so both teams hit indoors tonight. First pitch brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Text keyword pizza followed by a space and your name to 95323 to receive your Domino's special offer and to be entered to win a pizza party for 15. One weekly winner will be chosen. Felipe Lopez steps in, and the veteran switch hitter takes a swing at a hard sinker, which had a lot of movement on it. Strike one. Lopez hit a home run last night against Jeff Francis from the right side of the plate, his 7th career home run against the Rockies, which ties him, or ties his mark for most home runs against one team, along with the 7 he's hit against Milwaukee in his career. And this is on the ground and knocked down by Eldred, and he's not going to have a play. So Brad Eldred, we'll tell you, who was just brought up from Colorado Springs, is in the lineup at first base. The ball finds him, and it wasn't an easy play, Jeff Houston.
It wasn't. He had to go over to his right, try to knock it down, and it just trickled too far away from him.
So Colby Rasmus will step up with Lopez on. Brad Eldred is a mountain of a man. He's about 6'6.5" and 265 well-distributed pounds. It is being scored a base hit. Ball one on Rasmus.
Well, Cook, when he started out against the St. Louis Cardinals, not much success. And as you look at the numbers on Rasmus, Cook in his first 6 years of facing the St. Louis Cardinals, 0-4 with an earned run average near 7. But last year, 1-0, 069, they only hit a $174 against him.
Want to know the count on Rasmus, former #1 pick in 2005 of the Cardinals. Last year he hit .251 with 16 home runs and 52 driven in. He already has 16 home runs this year. And this ball is hit well to right center field. It'll create a first and third situation. So the Cardinals getting off to a quick start. Take a look at the rest of their lineup. Here come their big guns. Albert Pujols naturally will bat third. Matt Holliday, who homered last night, a 3-run jack, will be in the 4-hole. John Jay will bat fifth. Yadier Molina 6th. Tyler Green 7th. The pitcher, Jaime Garcia, will bat 8th, and then Skip Schumacher, who did not play last night. He's in the 9-hole at second base. This is not how you draw it up. Pujols with nobody out and 2 men on.
Well, nobody out, too. Cook, the opposition, and runner in scoring position. They've hit .419 against him. And then they just multiply that in, and Albert's the one standing at the plate doing swinging the bat right now.
And Albert's 4 for 11 lifetime against Cook. He had a couple of hits last night. And this is a double play ball. You know what? You'll take that all day long, Jeff Houston.
You will, especially first and third, nobody out, and you got Albert Pujols, and you're thinking, oh, one pitch, it could be 3-0. Instead, they got 1 run and 2 outs. And you're kind of breathing a sigh of relief.
Well, absolutely. You'll give up 1 for 2 anytime you can do it. And the scouting report on Aaron Cook tonight, 88-93 with his fastball, curve, slider, and changeup, which he started to use the curve a lot more on left-handers. Changeup 79-84. Spent about an hour with Matt Holliday today, and I said, you know, Shashin struck him out on a pretty good curveball in. It's about an inch off. Next time up, he threw a fastball, looked silly swinging away, and he said, I felt breaking ball was coming next, and he said, sure enough, it does, and I was able to hit the home run.
Well, Matt, as we've seen him do so many times in a Rockies uniform, staying centered right in the middle of the field, a base hit. So Holliday with 2 outs at first. Picks his spots to run. John Jay coming up as we take a look at the Mercedes-Benz defensive alignment for the Rockies. Carlos Gonzalez in left, Dexter Fowler in center, Ryan Spilborghs in right field. The addition in the infield's Brad Eldred. He is a good athlete despite being one of the largest people you'll see in a baseball uniform. Chris Iannetta's behind the plate. Miguel Olivo will work tomorrow afternoon handling Ubaldo Jimenez. That'll be a great pitching matchup. Ubaldo Jimenez and Chris Carpenter. 1:10 start time here at Coors Field. You know, I'm looking at John Jay at the plate. I'm looking at his setup. Does he not remind you of Rick Ankiel?
A little bit. You're right. He does. And again, a guy, a little slide open stance. He's hit the ball well since coming and joining this ball club. 16 for 49, a couple of home runs and 6 RBIs.
Here's the thing about Aaron Cook. There's a run in. There's been 3 hits in the inning. There's a guy standing at first base. That was just the 10th pitch he's made.
Everything happened pretty quick. Guys swung early in counts. They got base hits early in counts. Rasmus' first pitch, line drive right field. 1 pitch to Pujols, a double play ball.
Deep in the hole, Barmes, a tough chance, and Jay beats it. That's a great play by Barmes to get to it, and he was right on the money on the throw to Eldred. But now they're 2 men on, 4th hit of the inning, and it'll bring up Yadier Molina.
Well, and he couldn't go to second base because of Matt Holliday's speed. That's the other option that he had, so he knew he had to go all the way across and threw it right on the money. Nice stretch from Brad Eldred. Just Jay getting out of the box so quickly because he's from the left side of the box. So all of a sudden, he's just down there a little bit quicker. And that's one thing that you have to realize as an infielder, where the guy's hitting from. Is it the right side or the left side? Well, that time it was the left side, but that was the only option that Clint Barmes had.
Molina had a hit last night. He's been struggling at the plate.
I thought he struggled behind the plate last night, too. There's 2 or 3 balls that got by that typically you don't see get by Molina.
George, I agree with you. That's the worst game I've ever seen him catch. And we don't watch him every day, but this is one of the best receivers, if not the best all-around receiver in the game. He boxed a couple of pitches. Technique-wise, he either was lazy or his technique was off. And maybe the fact that he's caught so many games and a guy that needs a few days off, but he's going to the All-Star game. This ball's lined to right center field. This is going to get a run home. Holiday scores. Jay goes first to third. This is not the start that Aaron Cook was looking for. 5 hits in the first inning.
33rd RBI for Mr. Molina as he lined a shot into right field. He'll look on the 4th strike zone to see if this is where Iannetta wanted it. He wanted the ball down and in. Appeared to stay out of over the plate to get a little better opportunity to be hit. Molina didn't try to pull it, just inside out the baseball, picked up the RBI.
He had double play ball off the bat of Pujols that brought home a run. Holiday came up, and even after Matt got the hit, John Jay at the plate. You're still gonna, you figure you're gonna get out of it 1 run. Okay, no big deal. They have a 3rd run standing at third base, the 7th man to hit, Tyler Green, and this is for a clubhouse that was naturally pretty gloomy late last night, and pretty quiet this afternoon. This is exactly what they were looking for.
Well, what it shows me is they put it past last night. They're done with it. You know, as much as you don't think you can, they just put it behind them and came out here to play this baseball game. 8th batter in the lineup for the Cardinals. No, excuse me, 7th. I saw Garcia. Forgot about Tony Strictly.
Tyler Green, 256 average. He's a former #1 pick.
You know, the Cardinals, since they initiated the draft, have never had the first pick in the draft.
Tells you they've been pretty good year in and year out.
For a long time.
Cook catches the outside corner with a 91-mile-an-hour two-seamer. 2 balls and a strike on Tyler Green. Jay at third, Yadier Molina, an RBI single is at first. Rockies have won 9 of their last 10 against St. Louis. And this will get them out of the inning. 2 runs come around on 5 base hits. The Cardinals leave 2 aboard the top of the first. Inside Coors Field, the Rockies will have to play catch-up again. They were pretty good at it last night. You don't want to do that every night. They're down 2-0. Dexter Fowler had a huge hit in the 9th inning last night, a double off the right field wall that was preceded by the Chris Iannetta 3-run home run and kind of reset the table for Colorado. He'll be followed tonight again by Jonathan Herrera. hitting over 300. Cargo at 303. Melvin Moore in the 4th spot. Ryan Spilborghs will be next, and Chris Iannetta. The new guy, Brad Eldred, formerly of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Clint Barmas, 13-game hitting streak, and then a good hitting pitcher in Aaron Cook. That is presented by Southwest.com. And on the hill for St. Louis, Jaime Garcia, who tomorrow will turn 24. He's a rookie, and he is second in all of baseball in starter ERA, 2.10.
Josh Johnson's #1 out of Florida at 1.82. Followed by Wainwright, another Cardinal, at 2.24. And then you look at Jimenez at 2.27, and then Halladay at 2.33. Pretty good rotation to start your day with, isn't it?
There's a strike. He'll work that fastball between 90 and 93. 4-pitch mix. And when's the last lefty you've seen, George, that doesn't cut the fastball a little bit?
Well, they're going to. And I mean, it's going to have cut and it's going to have sink to it. Now, the other thing he does very well is he'll work his slider to both sides of the plate.
Well, he's the only guy with those low ERA that's not an all-star. Jeff Houston, we watched some video on him earlier. I don't know in your day if you saw as many cutters as it seems that everybody has one now.
No, just the only guy I could really remember was Jimmy Key of the Toronto Blue Jays. He was a guy that one of the few guys that started to cut it.
Well, you know what? When you come back off of a Tommy John surgery, Pujols will give chase here. And when you come back from Tommy John, the one pitch they'd have you stay away from is the slider. So what happens is a lot of guys develop a cutter to replace that slider until they get comfortable throwing it again. As we look at the scouting report on Jaime Garcia, we'll take a look and see that his numbers about what Drew talked about. 88, he has touched 95 this year, but he'll sit 90, 92. Curveball 75, 78, devastating slider under the bats of right-handers, and a very good changeup.
One out. That'll bring up Jonathan Herrera. And Herrera takes a strike.
Garcia's really made big strides and big numbers at home. 3-1 with a 120 earned run average. Nothing to be ashamed of on the road. 5-3, 292.
And this is going to get down a base hit for Herrera. You know what, Jeff Houston, I'm going to get your thoughts on Jonathan Herrera again in a moment, but we want to take a look at the defensive alignment presented by Mercedes-Benz for the St. Louis Cardinals. Matt Holliday is in left, Colby Rasmus is in center, and John Jay has right field. Felipe Lopez and Tyler Green left side, Skip Schumacher and Albert Pujols on the right side. And behind the plate, the two-time Gold Glove winner, Yadier Molina. Well, Huey, with Cargo coming up, Herrera's amazing. He just keeps throwing out base hit after base hit, quality AB after quality AB.
What was neat is today on the pregame show, Troy Tulowitzki was on it, and he was talking about Jonathan and Clint Barmas and how they filled in for him. And he was saying, oh, that, you know, the team doesn't really miss me. Well, that's not true, but it just goes to the point of Jonathan Herrera, what he's been able to do both offensively and defensively. Clint Barmas sliding over to shortstop. It's been a nice thing for Jim Tracy to be able to have a guy like a Jonathan Herrera.
You bet. 1-0 on Gonzalez, who had 4 hits last night, including a 2-run home run, a double, and a pair of singles. He drove in the 8th run with a long single to right. Of course, the Cardinals were playing no double, so Randy Wynn fielded it on a hop. If he's playing normal depth, he probably catches it and the ball game's over. 1-1. And then what was most impressive to me is the base hit by Giambi, George. A little bit of a bobble by Randy Wynn, and he scored, talking about Gonzalez, all the way from first base to tie the game.
Well, again, there was 2 balls out of, for whatever reason, they had their outfield playing completely against the wall. And there was 2 balls hit last night. I'm glad he didn't catch them. But normally, Randy Wynn, a very good outfielder, had not made an error 254 ball games before last night. And there's that big fender. That's not any fun to try to contact.
1-2 on Gonzalez. Carlos this year hitting .320 left on left. But Garcia's allowed left-handed hitters only a .190 average.
It's just 15 hits.
And 12 of those hits are singles.
Yeah, he got pretty far on that stretch, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
To the plate. I mean, that 45-degree angle, all the umpires talked about it. He really hung over on that one and kept out. And, made a very late throw. I thought maybe he got a little long with it.
Well, he did, and Bruce Dreckman just moved in another step from where he was to get a better look at that.
George, I know that wasn't called a balk, but and you were a right-handed pitcher. Was that?
Well, at the same time, I was just asking Huey about it. He looked very close to stepping towards the plate as much as he did to first base for me. I mean, he's a straight-up, straight-down guy, so you don't see him, rotate the hips too much and get behind the rubber, so it's going to be a difficult time to read.
This ball's hit the center field. Playable for Rasmus, who's playing shallow again. Worked out there. Far be it for me to position a very good young player in Kobe Rasmus, but it's surprising with his pop how shallow he plays.
Maybe not so much if he's in San Luis, but here in altitude where the ball carries a little bit more, you get it into the air and the backspin will get a little more ride out of the baseball. It surprises me a little too.
That'll bring up Melvin Mora. Mora at third base tonight. He was 1 for 1 in that 12-9 victory last night for the Rockies. In his career, 7 for 15 against the Cardinals. And he takes strike one. Home plate umpire is the crew chief, Gary Darling. Bruce Dreckman is at first, Paul Emmel at second, Bill Hahn at third.
By the way, Garcia's only been called for one balk all year.
Bob Davidson's crew
I'm
hasn't
just getting ready to say.
games,
Probably it had to be Bobby.
This ball bounced to third. And the Rockies are done in their half of the first. They'll depart the first inning trailing 2-0 to St. Louis. First inning. They're threatening to single Aaron Cook to death in that first inning. It'll be 8-9-1 for the Cardinals in the second. Jaime Garcia, Skip Schumacher, and then Felipe Lopez. Garcia is a good athlete. Garcia grew up just over the U.S. border in Mexico. He's from Reynosa, Mexico. But his family immigrated to the United States, to Texas, Mission, Texas, so he could attend Sharyland High School. And he was a very good pitcher, but a very good hitter in high school as well. And the 0-2 is fouled off. His senior year as a team MVP, won 11 ball games on the hill and hit .441. Cardinals took him in the next June's draft in the 22nd round. Strike 3. Well, Jim Wright, the Rockies bullpen coach and a former big league pitching coach, wearing the microphone tonight. It's mic'd up night. Let's listen in.
Let's go. Here we go. Come on, Big. Nice win yesterday. I watched you down there. You made your pitches. You made all of them. You missed a couple. When Big Sweaty was up there, but then you made the 3-2. You threw it right there. 2 strikes, right to the glove. If they don't swing, the ball's right to the glove. That's what I look for. Are you making your pitches?
Talking to Manuel Corpus a little while ago. Here's an easy play for Jonathan Herrera. 2 outs.
Well, when you started the way Manuel has, you look for friends and you look for positive results going into ball games because really you feel like you just disappoint your ball club. And he was able to come in last night, 6 up, 6 down, and picked up a victory. You look back at the game with the Giants, same situation, 15 innings, he gets the win in a ball game. The last guy coming out of the bullpen.
Yeah, Jeff Houston, as Felipe Lopez steps up with 2 outs and nobody on. One of the things Jim Tracy is so good at is working a bullpen and massaging guys back into a good place.
He can do it with all his players, the guys in the bullpen and the utility guys.
1-2-3 inning for Aaron Cook. Rockies. Home run last night, lefty going tonight, so Smith's watching initially. Time for the Breaks Plus Take a Break poll of the game. All right, last night, did you see the entire Rockies comeback, either right here on FSN or at the ball game? Do not lie. Text Rocks 1 for I watched every bit of it, or text Rocks 2 for, you know what, I kind of quit and I read about it this morning in the paper. Show this text at Brakes Plus, $25 off any brake service, $10 off any oil change this month at Brakes Plus. Spilborgs with a 1-1 count. Jaime Garcia and Aaron Cook hooking up. Jeff Houston, let me ask you, when you were facing a guy in your big league career that you'd never seen before, and the Rockies never seen Garcia, how much of an adjustment period is there?
I think your first at bat, there's a definite adjustment period because you can watch as much video as you want, but until you stand in that box and you figure it out, then that's when you can see how the break is, how it's all going. Sorry, I got my umbrella out. The rain's starting to come down a little bit harder now, guys.
So where did you get that umbrella? At a ladies' store?
Yeah, my wife gave it to me before I came.
I tried to give you a golf umbrella. You wouldn't take it.
Well, I didn't want to block the view of the fan sitting behind me, that's all. Okay.
At least your wife was thinking.
Yeah, I know. Somebody has to in the family, right, George?
Yes, that's nothing new. We all have the same thoughts. Where'd you get that umbrella, really? Tell the truth.
I brought it from home. I don't know. My wife got it out of her car and gave it to me.
What hotel did you borrow that from and not give it back? Here's Iannetta. Cutters inside.
There's a miss. It was a pretty good miss start to fall now. I don't know what it feels like to you, Jeff, on the field down there, but
it's more than a miss, I can tell you that much.
Well, you're excused. Come upstairs. I guess I can't ask them or tell you to do that, can I?
No.
We've got to wait for Tavis to say that.
Felipe Lopez throws out Iannetta, 2 outs, and that'll bring up Brad Eldred. Who wants tacos? Fans, remember, if the Rockies score 7 or more runs during any game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6. Get your Rockies taco special. I hope you did it earlier today. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell.
Man, there must be some pretty good guys in the PCL this year, because his 64 RBIs ranks 3rd. The home runs are 1st.
All I remember about spring training, fellas, is Brad Eldred led the Rockies in home runs, and he had like 12 at-bats during spring training. And I'm not really exaggerating. At one point, Huey, you and I were laughing. Didn't he have like 5 home runs and 7 at-bats?
Yeah, it was some ridiculous number. And we were talking to Jim Tracy before the ballgame. We were all sitting around and just conversing, and he talked about the home run he hit against the Reds in Goodyear and how far that ball traveled.
He's a big, strong guy. I was talking to Dexter Fowler about him before the ballgame. Of course, Dex played with him the last month, and he loves him. He says he's a great guy, and he said it's unbelievable how far he hits it. And Tracy was honest. He said, listen, he said Brad Eldred has as much power as anybody he has ever seen in baseball, period, end of subject. He said, but guess what? He's going to strike out, too. He's going to strike out a fair number of times. But look out when he runs into one. Didn't this time. 1-2-3 inning in the second for Garcia. Cardinals, as we go to the 3rd, leading 2-0. Rethink Possible by Brakes Plus. Brakes Plus, a whole lot more. By King Soopers, our people make the difference. And by Hyundai. Hyundai was just named the most fuel-efficient car maker in America. Visit your Colorado Hyundai dealers today. 1-0 count on Colby Rasmus, and he takes outside. No, it's in there for a strike. 1-1. Stand corrected. Rasmus with 16 home runs here in the first half. Driven in 40 at 276 average. Singled his first time up. And overhand curveball, something that Cook has thrown more and more this year. It's 1-2.
Had a really good curveball when his second year in Asheville, and then carried it on to Visalia. And he kind of taken this pitch back because it's so deceptive. I mean, it's a high 12-6 curveball. You can see the elevation on it there. It's a little bit above the belt buckle, but yet the finishing point's down about at the ankles.
Misses with the fastball, 2-2. Kobe Rasmus is an interesting guy. He's out of Russell County High School where he played for his dad, Southeastern Alabama. He's one of 3 guys that played together that were all #1 picks, including his brother Corey. Inside 3 and 2. Corey is playing right now for Texas in Double-A ball. He's 20 and 27 in 5 minor league seasons, and his brother, Corey is playing for the Braves and is 5 and 4 as a pitcher. He's an A-ball with Atlanta. And the other guy was Casey Kiker, who was the first-round pick of the Rangers in 06 as a pitcher, and he's, as I said, 20 and 27. That's amazing, Jeff.
Well, to have 3 guys like that, sure. I mean, it sounds like something that comes out of Cobb, Georgia, and all the players that they've had.
Yeah, this is hard hit ball. Nice pickup by Barmas, and he gets it to Eldred. 1 out.
That wasn't as easy a play as Clint Barmas made it look, because he had to go far to his right. And then with the rain that's been coming down, when it stays on the ground that long on the grass, it usually comes up with a lot of moisture on it. And that ball just scooted a couple different times, but he did the right thing. Set his feet and then make the strong throw.
Well, how solid the middle infield is since Tulowitzki went on the disabled list June 18th. Barmas has made 1 error. Johnny Herrera 1 error at second base.
Albert Pujols came up with runners at first and 30, fired at the first pitch, and it was 6-4-3 double play. The run scored. No RBI for Albert, and that pitch is in there for a strike. 1-1. Let's take a look at the Amica home run zone. This is where Albert's hit his home runs this year.
Up and away extension of the arms.
And another chance for Barmas. Well, showed range to his right, and now range to his left.
Well, if you're grading him out, you'd say his range is probably a 65 on a scale of 20 to 80.
Pretty good player, whether he's at short or second. Amica, it's not how you're covered, it's how you're treated. Matt Holliday a single up the middle and scored a run in the first. Cardinals up 2-0. 6 in a row set down by Aaron Cook. Strange still to see Matt, George, with the number 7 on his back.
Yeah, a little bit different. But I think, again, Matt's pretty happy right where he is right now with his Cardinal ball club in the city of St. Louis. He's bought a home there, becoming a part of the community.
One ball, one strike on Holliday, a career .356 hitter at Coors Field. He got a pitch out over the plate, fouled it back 1-2. Last night he got a breaking ball and he hammered it. That's against Willie Chassin, a 3-run home run. His first home run at Coors Field since wearing a Rockies uniform. He did play here last year. Tough pitch to cover.
Well, typically he doesn't make contact on that pitch, but it's got to be on the inner half a little more, and it was 91 miles an hour. That's the one pitch he's had some difficulty. Boy, those big numbers at Coors Field. 85 home runs, 311 RBIs.
Two outs, nobody on. Cook ahead of his old friend Matt Holliday, 1-2.
What do you think, sinker, George, or is that big curveball?
I'll try to get on top of the ball. You know, here's the thing about it. Matt is a very, very good breaking ball hitter.
That's a changeup, and I can't remember the last time I saw Aaron Cook throw that.
It's there, but it's not something he goes to very often. It's kind of like the last thing left in the kitchen cupboard. He doesn't throw this very often. You notice his body slowed down completely.
That was really odd looking, wasn't it, George?
It had a lot of movement on it, I can tell you that.
It almost had knuckleball movement.
Mm-hmm.
(3-2), and this ball's hit well to left center field. Gonzalez can't get there, and Holliday's going to have a double. He produces as many doubles as anybody in baseball year in and year out.
A lot of hard line drives off of his bat. That's typically the reason why. Here it comes on the Hyundai cam. Fastball got elevated up in the strike zone, and then Holiday able to just stay on that pitch and drive it out over the head of Gonzalez. He threw a glove up on it. We're going to have a play, and Matt scooted into second base with 2 outs.
John Jay had an infield hit his first time up, hit the ball deep in the hole of Barmas, who made a great throw to first, but Jay was able to beat it. This is where Jeff Houston, sinker ball pitchers, sometimes run into trouble because the ball's always in play. You have a guy with good speed at second, 2 outs, and Holiday. You're not going to get a lot of strikeouts. So if Jay finds a hole right here, you give up a 2-out run.
Yeah, and that's the problem you have with sinker ball pitchers sometimes. When they're on and everything's working right, they're hitting the ball right at people, but other times they're not, and it finds the holes. It found the hole early in this game in the first inning.
And that's going to find a hole. And it's going to be 3-0. Spilborghs comes up firing, and because the ball wasn't cut, Iannetta had it evidently go through over the head of Eldred. John Jay wisely moved up.
First RBI he's had with 2 outs in a ball game, coming to the plate with runners in scoring position. Good sinker, bottom half of the zone. But again, contact made pretty solid. Shot that thing through the right side, and then Holiday was able to come around and score. Ball over the head of Eldred. I think he might have been able to cut that off. I just think Iannetta probably said let it go and see if they had a player.
Yeah, that was a good throw from Ryan Spilborghs and right. It wasn't over Brad's head. He just chose it. And I didn't hear Chris yell whether to let it go. And sometimes if you don't say anything, that's when you let it just go through.
Yadier Molina, an RBI single to right center in the first inning. 3-0 St. Louis. They have out-hit the Rockies 7-1.
Jeff, when you're running the bases like that and you were the batter to hit the baseball, did you try to hear as you were running?
Yes. Yeah, you try to do whatever you can to get that advantage. I think he just took off and decided to go on his own.
In the inning, a 2-out double by Holiday and a 2-out single by John Jay makes it 3-0 Cardinals. Clint Barmas will lead it off out of the 8-hole as we take a look at our Geico quote of the day. Stan the Man Musial. On an all-star team, I vote for players of one kind. Those I enjoy watching the most when the ball is hit or pitched in their direction.
You will not meet a more classier man than Stan Musial.
Look up his numbers, and I sometimes think that he doesn't get his due. He's a Hall of Fame right now. That's silly to say, but his numbers are incredible. 0-1 on Barmis, pulled foul. The reason I say that, again, in Cooperstown last week, George, going through the Hall of Fame, looking on the all-time list offensively, and Musial is there in a prominent place on so many of those lists.
He's a great hitter.
1-2 on Barmis. Right now, Clint's tied with Juan Uribe for 4th on the all-time shortstop start list with the Colorado Rockies. Neifi Perez has started the most games at shortstop for the Rockies, 603. Then Walt Weiss started 494. Tulowitzki at 485. And Barmis and Uribe at 286. 1 out, Aaron Cook at the plate. Repair that chip in your windshield. Call Safelite Elite Auto Glass 303-287-5000 or go to safelight.com. Sun trying to peek through the clouds. That'll be welcome.
It's not raining quite as hard either. That's even more welcome in my eyes.
Did you put your umbrella down?
Yes, I did. Put the umbrella down, got my towel over my lap just to make sure I got everything clean. I don't get my book wet.
Make sure the Four Seasons gets that umbrella back.
I'll do that on the next road trip.
Okay. We going to that city again?
No.
Okay. 0-2 on Cook. Rockies had 19 hits last night, 8 in the 9th inning. Aaron Cook's gone, 2 strikeouts for Garcia. More from Jimmy Wright tonight, wearing one of our microphones.
You're live. Está listo. Estoy listo.
I'm ready for maybe for the day after this.
You're always ready.
On Monday, I'm ready.
You thank Dios every day.
Jim Wright talking to Esmil Rogers. What a job he did a couple days ago.
Yeah, and he's saying I was ready to go on Monday. And when you get guys out, you feel like you're ready to pitch the next day. But if you have a rough outing, you kind of want that day off. Four shutout innings, punched out 5. Had a heck of a day.
2-0 on Dexter Fowler. He fouled out to Albert Pujols, and on a nice play by Albert down the right field line. 2 balls and a strike. See how the Rockies do second time through with Garcia. Only 1 base runner, a Johnny Herrera single in the first against Garcia. Shows he's not afraid to come in there. 2-2.
Looked like a cutter a little bit. And what it does, folks, if you're trying to hit the cutter, it's out in front of you, and you're right on the sweet part of the bat, and it's biting your knuckles about another 1.5 feet.
That's going to fall out of play. Last night, the greatest last at bat win in team history. It's the 3rd time ever again that a team scored 9 runs in the 9th inning for a walk-off win. This ball is hit to left field right at Matt Holliday. And Garcia has retired 8 in a row. Cardinals have a 3-0 lead as we go to the 4th. Tyler Green will be up first for St. Louis. Pitcher bats 8th for the Cardinals this year. They're 17-13. They average about the same number of runs. 4.5 is when he bats 9th, where they're 3 games over 500. The batting average virtually the same. Line drive off the glove of Melvin Mora, and Tyler Green is going to have himself a base hit. A lot of balls. You know, we talk about balls finding holes against Aaron Cook. There's also been a lot of balls that have been hit very hard.
8 hits in the game already. Tyler Green looking to get a fastball, and he got one, a little bit elevated, but with his stance squatted down, I know as a pitcher I used to try to get that up. But if you keep it down in the zone to him, it becomes pretty hittable.
Here's the pitcher, Garcia. A situation ordinarily where you bunt, but with a 3-0 lead, you have to be aware of the slug bunt here.
I also think that Tony La Russa said, wait, I saw a lot of runs scored late last night. I'm going to try to get everyone out of here I can tonight.
I thought it was pretty funny because Garcia looked in the dugout at Tony. Kendo looked at him. Like, you know, let me hit? No, I don't think so. I think you're going to be bunting here, son.
Especially with a little moisture on the grass, too.
Sunshine.
Yeah, there's still moisture on the grass, though. So you have to be under control, especially Melvin Mora when he comes in. If he fields his ball, or Aaron Cook, under control when you field it so your feet don't slip out from underneath you.
Sacrifice is executed. 2-4, and Tyler Green at second base for Skip Schumacher. AT&T trivia question. Who are the 6 active first basemen with 1,000 or more RBIs? A couple in the ballpark tonight. Schumacher hit a ground ball to second his first time up. Ball 1 on Schumacher.
This might be the time we see an Aaron Cook, Clint Barmas pickoff. The daylight.
You were right on the money on that. Good pickup by Barmas. Safe, though, was the runner Tyler Green.
Could hear half their dugout screaming back as they watch Barmas sneak in behind him. Tell you what, Cook got his legs tied up, or he might have had a little better throw.
If that throw's on the money, he's out. Had to wait for it to come off the dirt and then try to apply the tag.
Two 2-0 on Schumacher. Cross paths with Ryan Spilborghs at UCSB, University of California, Santa Barbara. Not a lot of success against Aaron Cook. 3-0.
Of course.
Go ahead, George.
Yeah, I was just going to get somebody to pick up a suite at the ballpark and watch the ball game. Coors Fields, the suites, the party facilities, and picnic areas fit any event and any budget. Just pick up the phone, 303-312-2444, and reserve a suite for your next event here at the ballpark.
Ball 4. So Schumacher walks, and they're 2 on for Felipe Lopez. Not the end of the world. Aaron Cook, the master of creating double play ground balls, will be looking for one here with Lopez.
15 times this year, Aaron Cook's got people to induce in a ground ball, which is tied for 6th in all of baseball.
Aaron's unbeaten at Coors Field this year, 3-0 with a 2.64 ERA. But right now he's on the wrong end of a 3-0 score in the 4th. Cardinals scored first yesterday. They scored often yesterday before the Rockies had that magical run in the 9th inning. Cardinals are 32-8 this year, and they score first, tied with the Yankees' best mark in the game. Two and one. Rockies began the day 4 behind San Diego, and the Padres are losing in the 8th inning again tonight in Washington, 7-5. Dodgers are 3 back. Giants 6 back, and the Giants are winning 11-1 in Milwaukee in the 4th, 2-2. Dodgers and Marlins a little bit later on at Dodger Stadium.
Good matchup. Josh Johnson going against Kuroda. In LA, it'd be a pretty good ball game. Lincecum's the one with the lead on the 11-1 ball game of the Giants.
Think he can make that hold up?
I think a pretty good chance of it.
Double play ball. Good feed from Barnes. Johnny Herrera to Guy Eldred. There's a hit and a walk. Nothing else across. Rockies trailing 3-0 as we go to the bottom of the 4th. To 1 so far. Johnny Herrera out of the 2-hole has the only hit, and he will lead things off against Jaime Garcia. The triumvirate of Adam Wainwright, Chris Carpenter, and now Jaime Garcia combined 33-19 this year for the Cardinals. At least the club is 33-19 when one of those 3 start a ball game. What do you see from Garcia, George, that you think makes it difficult for the opposition?
3 things. Cutter has a very good breaking ball. Stays on his body line with his arm coming out. You don't see the ball. It's a short arm delivery, but you don't see the ball until it's on you at the home plate area. Those are the things I see. I've noticed he stayed down in the strike zone pretty consistently. He hadn't gotten up hardly at all.
Jeff, from your perspective?
I go to hiding the baseball very well because he comes back with that little hip turn but drops his hand down kind of behind his back leg, and then you don't pick it up.
He hasn't shown the curveball much, but he has it in his arsenal. Missed there, 2-2.
Maybe he's afraid to throw it at altitude.
In the air to center field. Easy play for Rasmus. More from Jim Wright, the Rockies bullpen coach.
You guys vote for Cargo? Yeah. Kind of cool. My daughter and I stayed on the computer for an hour voting. Yeah.
many balls do you get to hit?
You know, I quit counting after 50. So we probably got, between the two of us, a couple of hundred.
And here is Cargo, and he needs your vote because he was in 4th place through 2 days, and it'll go through Thursday.
Well, one thing that's going to help him now, I think, is that Heath Bell has replaced Gallardo on the roster now, so you're down to 4 guys you're voting against or going against in the vote. So that's going to help him a little bit with Heath Bell being added to the roster.
1-1 on Carlos Gonzalez. There was a T-shirt when the players arrived at the ballpark today. It said, "Vote for Cargo." They had a bunch of handmade ones with magic marker yesterday, and now they have the official one already done. And every player and coach was wearing it in the clubhouse this afternoon. 2 balls and a strike on Carlos. Hit a fly ball to center field his first time up. 3-1. Three balls, 2 strikes on Cargo.
Did you make a play on that ball? I heard you bouncing around down there.
It went off the wall over here and went behind my back. So I had to lean up right here. It's right over here. I'll get it in a second, give it to a fan back here. I didn't get hit like Alana, though. I had quicker reflexes.
This ball is hit solidly to center field and deep, and it's over the head and off the wall as Rasmus will return it. That thing never got more than 15 feet off the wall, and it left a dent 415 feet from home plate. He hits the ball some kind of hard.
No question about that part of it. On a 4th strike zone, let's look and see where this pitch is. Away from him where he can extend his arms. Early on in the season, guys were staying away from him. He struggled with it. Well, now that's kind of his favorite spot. They have not come back inside on Gonzalez of late.
I'm trying to think back to that ball that Carlos hit to center field. Who are the Rockies playing then that it didn't get more than about 10 feet off the ground? A couple weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago, I remember. Yeah, and that ball he just hit was pretty similar. Remember, there was a base hit he had to center field about 3 weeks ago that Jim Tracy said after the game, it's the 2nd hardest hit ball he's ever seen. He's talking about a single now.
Yeah.
He is goofy talented. Carlos Gonzalez. 2-0 on Melvin Mora. Rockies trying to break the ice. First man to touch second base for the Rockies in this game is Cargo. Just 2 hits. Herrera's in the first, and now Gonzalez is 1-out double in the 4th. And a roller back up the middle. 2 outs as Gonzalez crosses to 3rd. They'll be left to Ryan Spilborghs. This date in history is brought to you by Dex One Marketing Solutions business results. We go back to 2005 on July the 7th. Todd Helton hits home run number 259 of his career, passing Larry Walker for the franchise's all-time lead. He'd actually hit 2 in that ball game. And he did it with some flair, hitting it in the upper deck. If you missed it earlier, Todd Helton was placed on the disabled list today with lower back issues, and Brad Eldred was called to the big leagues. Brad getting the start at first base tonight. Outside ball 1 on Spilborghs. Brad didn't arrive at Coors Field till less than 90 minutes before the first pitch. He was flying in from Fresno. One and one on Spilborghs. Spilly hit a fly ball to left field his first time.
Ryan's just a little jumpy tonight. He's got that late kick, and then A little bit too much of a weight transfer going to that front leg too fast.
And you usually get hurt by off-speed pitches when you're in that mode, don't you?
Well, because your head moves. That's why you can't see the ball as long. So you start to jump a little bit, and your head travels with your front leg, and then the ball away from you or anything soft, you end up just swinging right through it.
Three and two. Jeff, you mentioned in the clubhouse, you and I were watching Garcia on tape, and it was his game against Kansas City. Now, they had other games on there. We happened to watch Kansas City and think, boy, man, he doesn't look sharp with his command. That was his worst outing all year. Really, his only bad outing. He went 2 innings, allowed 5 runs on 4 hits. 3-2's down low, and that's walk number 1. And now 2 on for Chris Iannetta.
And that was kind of the game plan coming into it with Don Baylor. It's just make sure that he throws strikes. You say that about a lot of pitchers, but a guy that's not an overpowering a 95 to 96 mile an hour guy, then you got to make sure that if he's not hitting his spots, he's got to come over at 91 miles an hour. Pretty easy hitting.
Iannetta drove in 4 last night, even though he came into the ball game in the late innings. Time to go outside the box with Jack in the box. Great average for Chris against the Cardinals. And 24 of his 45 career home runs here at Coors Field. Got 99 RBIs career-wise at Coors Field. When he homers, the Rockies have won 80% of the time. 1-1. That'd be a great feeling for Chris last night with all that he's been through this year, the opening day starter, and then an assignment to Colorado Springs. He's the backup, clearly the backup right now to Miguel Olivo, to contribute in a big way to a Rockies win. And this is a hard hit ball to right at Lopez. And Garcia works out of it, the first threat for the Rockies. It remains 3-0 St. Louis. And by the great Colorado Payback, reuniting you with your money. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, and Jeff Hewson from Coors Field on a Wednesday night. Middle game of a 3-game set. Colorado and St. Louis. Colby Rasmus 1 for 2. Hitting in front of Albert Pujols. And he gets the curveball that misses ball 1. 2 in the first for St. Louis. They added a run in the third. They've out-hit the Rockies 8-2 in the ball game. And that's a long drive, fouled by about 100 feet to the third deck.
Well, interesting. No, Rasmus 325 out on the road, and then his home ballpark 102.6 south of that at 233. Aaron Cook so far has given up 8 hits in this game. That's only happened a couple of the ball games this season. One was at Minnesota, 3 1/3, and then at Kansas City, it was 4 1/3.
Good pitch. I mentioned that Colby Rasmus played for his dad in high school. His dad, Tony, was originally a 10th round pick himself back in 1986 in the Major League Draft. Did go 3-2. How about this? Colby, his senior year, hit 24 home runs in high school, which broke the Alabama state single season record held by your favorite player of all time, Jeff Houston, Vincent Jackson, better known as known as Bo.
Some kind of scary coming in, turning a double play. Man, oh man. You could hear him as soon as he got to first base. It took one stride. You're like, give me the ball. Don't let him hit me.
Yeah, I could think of other people you'd rather have bearing down on you.
Oh, come on, Jeff. If he ran into you, you just whooped him and told him to go to the dugout.
I tell you what he wouldn't do, help you up. That's for sure.
This is lifted to left field. Carlos Gonzalez territory. 1 out. Tonight's Fast Cash Sideline Report is brought to you by Fast Cash Gold Centers, where you'll always get 40% more for your gold. Let's check in with Mark Stout. Mark?
All right, guys, I was doing some research getting ready for the Cardinals and their trip here to the Mile High City, and I noticed that it was on this week in 1983 that Jim Cott was released by St. Louis. Ending his career, he won 283 games. And, George, I've heard you refer to Jim Cott on occasion in games. I know that when you broke in with the Cardinals, he was still pitching there. And I think he had a big influence on your career. Can you tell people that story?
Yeah, he sure did, Mark. I know that the first time I got sent down from the big leagues, Bing Devine said, you're going to start when you go back to the minor leagues. I said, no, I'm going to Branson, Missouri, and I'm going to start fishing. And I actually I didn't retire. I just went home for about 7 or 8 days. And Jim Cott finally called me, and he said, hey, are you done being stupid? I said, what do you mean? He said, time for you to come back to work. And I went back to work, and the rest is kind of history. But, yes, big influence on an awful lot of people in the game. Not just me, but a lot of people. A man that loved the game, pitched into his early 40s, 16 gold gloves. Kitty Cat. Good man, doing games now and still as a broadcaster for MLB Network. 11 ground ball outs, 1 fly ball out for Aaron Cook in this ball game.
He gets Pujols on a pop, and here's Holiday. He's not retired Matt yet. Matt, a single and a run scored in the first, and then a 2-out double in the third. He was brought home by John Jay.
We talked about Aaron Cook and the double plays in this game and how he works out of the situation. Think about this. Since 2008, Cook is at 4th in all of baseball. They've turned 63 double plays for Aaron Cook when he's on the mound. Burley is the leader with 73. Maholm and Sanders with 65, and Garland with 63, tied for 4th with Aaron Cook. It's impressive.
2-1 on Holiday, who announced yesterday that he would participate in the home run derby for the 2nd time in his career.
He just wanted his brother Josh to make sure he gets to throw batting practice again. Did that in San Francisco. I would think going to the All-Star game right now would be, for the East Coast guys, as far as tiring. And then when the game ends, the next morning you're flying 4 to 6 hours to get back to New York, to get back to, 4-hour flight to Cincinnati. That's why a lot of guys, and Jim Tracy did this a year ago, it's a lot of guys that go. They'll give those starters, the guys who played in the game, that day off starting afterwards because they have no breaks during the All-Star game.
Well, that's what's nice about having Thursday off as well.
Yeah, the Rockies do this year. Swung on a missed 3-2. I was talking to Pujols about that yesterday, and he said some people, they don't do their homework. They said, I tailed off after the home run derby last year, and my swing was off. He said, in July, I hit 350.
Yeah, well, they're talking about home runs and RBIs probably.
Speaking of home runs, that's another one for Holiday. Did he whip that up on the concourse?
No, it's about 8 rows shy, but it's close enough. And I said to him last night, I said, you got your curveball pretty good. And he said, I could have got it better. And I was like, what? It was left center. It was 8, 9 rows from the top. Well, Matt Holliday comes back to haunt the Rockies again. And it's 2 home runs in the series so far for Matt Holliday, a double and a single in this ball game. On the Hyundai cam, watch that front side open, some powerful legs and arms, took a swing at this pitch.
That was crushed.
No, it was.
87th, 86th home run, I should say, for Matt Holliday at Coors Field. That's 5th all time. Helton has 200. Walker 154. Vinny Castilla 132. Dante Bichette 111, and then Matt Holliday. 1 ball, 1 strike on Jay. He's 2 for 2 in an RBI. So Holliday is a triple from a cycle. He has scored 3 of the 4 Cardinal runs tonight. Matt seems far more relaxed in this, his second time back to Coors Field. This ball is gone to right. 5-0 St. Louis. It's 10 hits in 4 2/3. And with Aaron Cook due up 3rd next inning, unlikely he'll pitch beyond the 5th inning.
And again, that ball appeared to just drop the inner half. Look how far. And we'll try to show it to you again. I'd like to see that again from center field to show the fans at home how important. And take it from the setup guys in the truck if we could. From the very beginning, looking at it to catcher. And you can see where Inett is. Look where Inett is. Now watch where he goes. I mean, that was almost, Jeff, a 3-foot mistake.
Yeah, but it was down and into the lefty, right where they like it most of all.
4th time the Cardinals have gone back-to-back this year. First time in 6 weeks. Well, Esmil Rogers said earlier, Jim Wright has the mic on, that he could have gone yesterday. Pitched 4 innings on Sunday. He's more than likely going to come into the ball game. 2 out, home runs from Matt Holliday and John Jay. And now St. Louis has a fairly significant lead. 5-0. If you saw this, but in the bottom of the 9th inning, the Rockies trailed 9-3, and they scored 9 runs. Seth Smith, a 3-run walk-off home run. So many big hits in Mr. Late Night's young career already, but that was his first walk-off home run. Brad Eldred is at the plate. He gets a big curveball, ball 1. Brad Eldred called up today. Todd Helton placed on the disabled list. At a Florida International University, and hit a rocket either past the glove or through the glove of Felipe Lopez.
You might want to check the webbing on that.
Struck out earlier on changeup away and a curveball away. Came up this time. Coming with it now, and I mean, here it is. So you got on top of a fastball, 89 miles an hour, and was wanting to cut that ball in, and Eldred just shot it right at Lopez. Jeff, that's about the time you go to the mound and go, look, if you're going to hang something, hang it away for me, will you, please?
You want to switch spots, because that came at me awful hard.
Clint Barmas hit a fly ball to center field. They were waiting to score that. I don't know what they were waiting for.
Why?
Yeah, that was hit 140 miles an hour. They finally given Eldred what he deserves, a base hit. But this is going to turn into 2. No, it's not. A bad feed by Tyler Green. Maybe this is the break the Rockies need. Second and third, nobody out. Should be 2 outs, nobody on. That, Jeff Houston, for a former shortstop, should have been as easy as it gets.
Yeah, 4th there now for Tyler Green. I mean, it's hit hard, and you do the difficult part and catch it. And then it's just an easy feed over to second base, and he just threw it down the right field line. Right now, you got it, you flip it under. Oh, what happened there? He worked underneath the baseball. Might have been a little bit wet, but still no excuse. That should have been 2, but the Rockies get a break now, second and third, nobody out.
Hey, what? Watching the big man run. He's not bad.
Runs well underway.
Yeah, Ian Stewart will pinch hit for Aaron Cook. And if you're saying why a left-handed bat, that's all the Rockies have other than Miguel Olivo. Not going to go to your backup catcher tonight in this situation in the 5th inning. So Stewart hitting for Aaron Cook. Rockies down 5-0, out hit 10-3. 1-1.
Yeah, but if you can get a base hit here or drive in, even if you get a ground ball, drive in and run, Dexter Fowler drives and run, all of a sudden it's 5-2, and the Cardinals have to be thinking, uh-oh, here they come again.
And that was the pitch. You can just tell by Stewart's reaction, George, that was the pitch that he wanted.
Well, the cutter stayed flat, and it was 87 miles an hour. So if you get a cutter that stays pretty flat, doesn't have a lot of bite to the going away from the hitter, obviously it's a pretty good pitch to hit because of the lack of velocity and the plane of the ball.
Two and two.
This might be the time we see that hard slider, George.
Absolutely. Throw it in the dirt, down and away, and make it more of a big bender, less velocity.
This ball up the middle, base hit, it'll score 2. And the Rockies are back in it. Pinch 2-run single against Stewart. And you know Tony La Russa and the Cardinals may have that feeling again.
For Stewart, he's going to pick up a couple of RBIs to give him 37, but that's his first pinch hit single, or pinch hit period, and 5 tries now as a pinch hitter for the Rockies. Hyundai Cam, boy, he got way up on top of it. It just hung a little bit and then got down into an area where Stu could put some bad wood on it, and he did. You know, when you stand out on the mound as a young kid, you got to gather yourself back up. Had a 5-0 lead and a perfect double play ball. Now you're down, still up by 3.
See, he pushes a bunt. You know what? There's a big opening with the second baseman back, Jeff Houston. You got a left-handed pitcher falling off toward the third base side. Bring the tying run up.
Yeah, it was the right idea, just not the right execution. Nothing wrong with that, though. Try to get some more guys involved. Things are starting to go a little bit faster for Garcia out on the hill.
This is chopped to short, and they get the lead runner. And that's all they'll get, obviously, with Fowler running. So that'll bring up Herrera with 1 out.
Well, the other thing it causes too, by committing the error, you're going to end up making about 10 to 15 more pitches to get through this inning.
And he's in the mid-70s. Strike on Herrera, single, and a fly ball to fairly deep center field. Herrera hit 17 of his last 18 games. Got to step out on him, don't you, George?
Well, to hold it a long time like that, he's trying to disturb Dexter a little bit, make sure he's got his focus to the plate, and he finally stepped off the back to try to see what Dexter's doing.
We will talk to Jim Tracy between innings. Two. Said it before with Jonathan Herrera. He is a comfortable two-strike hitter, if there is such a thing.
Just he's fearless. I mean, I think that's what helps him. He's not intimidated by where he's playing.
Rockies with two across here with the help of a Tyler Green error. It's 5-2. It's a final now in DC. The Nationals again beat the Padres 7-6. So if the Rockies can come from behind again tonight, they'll be 3 back. And the Padres will be here over the weekend. And a base hit to center field. Tying run coming up. And a pretty fair player by the name of Carlos Gonzalez. Talked about his ability to hit with 2 strikes, George.
He really did. Did a nice job of it. Didn't try to do too much. Cut fastball working inside on him. He was inside out the baseball over the head of Schumacher.
Gonzalez, a fly ball to fairly deep center field, and then a line drive 415-foot double to center field. Fowler at second, Herrera at first, 1 out in the Rockies half of the 5th. Coming into tonight's action, Carlos Gonzalez had the 3rd highest average among National League outfielders. Tied for 3rd among outfielders in the National League in home runs with 15. Tied for, or it's actually 4th by himself in RBIs. 1-1. And tied for 3rd in runs scored. And a reminder, and I don't think you need one, that most of his work this year has been in the 1 hole.
A lot of that has been. There's no question about it. Saw a quick flash of other guys around the baseball.
Chop foul past Glenn Allen Hill. It's 1-2. The inning began with a Brad Eldred base hit off the glove of Felipe Lopez. He had a rocket. And then Barmes hit a hard shot right at the shortstop Green. He fielded it. It looked like it was going to be an easy 6-4-3, and he threw it into right field. And then Stewart, a pinch hit, 2-run single. Pulled the string, and he got Gonzalez for the 2nd out. Big strikeout for Garcia. That'll bring up Melvin Mora.
On the Hyundai cam earlier, breaking ball that turned out and resulted in a base hit. This ball placed better by Garcia. Blocked well by Molina.
Just the 3rd strikeout tonight for Jaime Garcia. Mora, ground ball to 3rd and a ground ball to 2nd. 3 for his last 19 at the plate. He is hitting better than 280 this year against lefties. 1-2. See, it went to the changeup there. Fowler at second. Johnny Herrera at first. For a veteran hitter, Frage, doesn't always work out, obviously, but the more pitches you see the release point. You see, okay, now I've seen the changeup a couple times. I've seen the curveball release.
Absolutely. It just becomes much easier to hit. Obviously. I mean, how many times we see Todd Helton have an 8, 10, 11 at bat, pitch at bat, and all of a sudden he ropes one in the seats or in the double.
Moore covered that pitch down and in. 2-2. And a base hit to right. Up with the baseball, John Jay. Here comes Fowler. He'll score. Herrera to third. Melvin Mora coming through. And the Rockies are within 2 of the Cardinals. Winning it back. Thirteenth RBI for the 38-year-old Melvin Mora.
Did a good job taking it to the opposite field, too, to drive in the run. And I think Garcia, after that double play was not turned, the pitch count is really extended. See, that's a hard-cutting slider coming in with Dexter's speed. You have a difficult time throwing him out at home plate. Dexter beats the throw, and because it was so far offline, Pujols did not have a shot at trying to cut down Jonathan Herrera at third.
Good teams take advantage of miscues. And the Rockies got a break when Tyler Green threw that ball into right field. And the Rockies now have put 3 on the board. Spielborg's up with runners at first and third. Ryan a fly ball to left and a walk. Outfield shaded to right center. That misses. Tell you what, with the grass George slick, if Spilly hits a line drive in the gap in left center field, it's almost an automatic triple.
Well, I'd like if you hit it over the fence, it's an automatic home run.
They have that rule now, don't they? This is on the ground to second. And the Cardinals get out of it, but the Rockies get back in it. 3 runs in the 5th. It's now a 2-run ball game. Jim Tracy coming up in a moment.
Obviously made a mistake on the Barmas ground ball, and good ball clubs take advantage of opportunities they're given, and we certainly did a great job of it in that half inning to get ourselves back into the game.
Well, Jim, you have the flair for the dramatic. Hopefully we'll see it in the coming innings. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, Drew.
All right, that's Jim Tracy downstairs. Skip, I'm inclined to say you have him right where you want him, spot number 5. I know that wasn't your game plan, though.
No, that wasn't the plan of attack, but what I'm very pleased to see, Drew, is the fact that they obviously made a mistake on the Barmas ground ball, and good ball clubs take advantage of opportunities they're given, and we certainly did a great job of it in that half inning to get ourselves back into the game.
Well, Jim, you have the flair for the dramatic. Hopefully we'll see it in the coming innings. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, Drew.
All right, that's Jim Tracy downstairs. The Rockies trailing 5-3, and a couple of changes. Esmil Rogers is now on the hill for the Rockies, coming off that great 4-inning relief appearance in extra frames on Sunday as the Rockies won 4-3 in 15. This call to the bullpen brought to you by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Call 1-800-COMCAST.
Very important in this part of the game for Rogers to come in and hold the opposition down just like he did with the Giants. But he's got to be able to come in and throw strikes, work against this veteran ball club who's got a lot of power. Everybody knows about it. 13th appearance for Rogers the other day. He threw the ball extremely hard, go foul.
It did. Listen to George. Tyler Green will have to return to home plate with a 2-2 count. Rockies keep Ian Stewart in the ball game, so Melvin Mora comes out of the ball game. Melvin, that RBI single last inning, and the pitcher spot will be the 4-hole now, and Stewart will bat in the 9-hole. Two and 2 on Tyler Green. 1 for 2 against Aaron Cook. Cook goes 5 innings, gives up 5 runs on 10 hits. Walked 1, struck out 1, and he allowed a pair of home runs. They came last inning. Matt Holliday and John Jay going back to back. Have you noticed, George, more movement with that fastball from Esmil?
A little bit. What I've noticed more than anything is the velocity. He was up to 97 the other day. He's setting 94, 95, but everything, his delivery, almost a perfect image of Yolis Chachin. And then, again, that's taught down there. He throws a pretty good pitch here. We're going to get a swing and miss from Green.
Yeah, that's a swing and miss slider. Great pitch. 1 out. That'll bring up Jaime Garcia. Let's take a look at our AT&T trivia question again, looking for the 6 active first basemen with more than 1,000 runs batted in. Albert Pujols, Todd Helton naturally on that list. Jim Thome, Jason Giambi on the list. Can't forget about him. So 3 in the ballpark tonight. Paul Konerko and Lance Berkman. The all-time leader among first basemen, Lou Gehrig, drove in 1995. 0-1 on Garcia and 0-2 on Garcia.
It'll be interesting to see if anybody picks up Lance Berkman at the trading deadline.
Well, it's going to be, Jeff, what's going to happen is where he wants to go because he's got a no-trade contract. And there's going to be people that inquire, but, it just matter of whether, I don't think he's going to go to Oakland.
Even if isn't he a 10-5 guy anyhow?
Yeah. I think he is.
Oh, well, don't forget, we've talked an awful lot about this. It isn't over yet. Online voting starting July 4th. It ends on the 8th for the final 2 stars. 4 they have to, that's vying for the final star in the National League, because they've taken Heath Bell and put him out into the rotation with Gallardo. So now there's just 4 guys.
I'll tell you what would help, and you don't want anybody to get hurt, but if for some reason somebody did, and Joey Votto was the next guy, he's the natural guy to go, I think that would really help Carlos Gonzalez's chances. Skip Schumacher, a 2-out knock, and that'll bring up Felipe Lopez. Yeah, Jeff Houston, you look at Schumacher's numbers, he's hit 300 each of the last 3 seasons. Pretty good hitter.
Well, he's got a nice swing. That's why he's been able to hit 300. His bat just really stays in the zone a long time, and hitting where he is now in the lineup down in the order, he's going to get some fastballs, and it's a perfect spot for him.
To answer Jeff's question, Lance Berkman had 10.5 years, or 10 years, 52 days going into this year.
So he is a
10-5 guy. So, I mean, he's not, just because you can go out and get some prospects from somebody doesn't mean they're going to make that trade for him.
And what that means, even if you don't have a no-trade contract, if you're 10 years in the league and 5 consecutive with the same team, that's what 10-5 means. So Herrera is not going to have a play. So a short hop line drive that I don't think Johnny got leather on. He's kind of slowly walking around. I think that hit off his leg, Jeff.
Yeah, I don't think he got any leather at all. It had that top spin right off the bat. Felipe Lopez wasn't sure if it was going to stay up in the air or sink down, and it sunk on him, and he just didn't get that glove over and tried to catch it between his legs because he thought he was going to be able to catch it in the air. That hooked back on him a little bit, too.
Keith Duggar out there. How do you feel? Not good. Where did it get you? Well, right
I don't want
here.
to talk about that part. Well, what happens then, I mean, realistically, folks, if he had to come out of the game right now, Olivo catches. Iannetta goes to third. Stewart goes to second. That's all you got, because you're down to your last infielder that's not an infielder. If that makes sense to you.
They continue to talk to Jonathan Herrera. We'll show you tonight's Quest high-speed pitch, brought to you by Quest, the high-speed internet provider of the Colorado Rockies. Garcia and Cook both have hit 93. Aaron's out of the ball game. Aaron gave up 5 runs in 5 innings. Jonathan Herrera is okay, evidently. And you've waited a long time to reach this level, and you're performing the way he is, especially the way he's wired anyhow. That typically is not going to knock you out of a ball game. So after 2 quick outs via the punch out, Rogers has given up a single to Schumacher and a single to Lopez, and now he has to deal with the dangerous Colby Rasmus. 1 for 3 in the ball game. One of the 2 times the Rockies retired Rasmus, it took a fine play by Clint Barnes. Strike 1 on the outside corner. Rockies got 3 in the bottom of the 5th. They want to get right back to the dugout. Swing the bat some more. Looking for that 3rd out here in the 6th. Good pitch.
How about the stop from Chris, too?
Great block.
A hard slider, not quite sure which way it's going to go once it hits that dirt. He just slides over. And notice how his feet are already pointed out. That allows him to move laterally side to side. He went over there and just worked underneath the ball.
That's a good subtle little point for aspiring catchers, Jeff.
Yeah, put your feet at a 45-degree angle, kind of point them out a little bit so you can open up those hips a little bit easier and allow you to drop down into a blocking position much easier.
Here's the 1-2 in the air to shallow right, and it's going to drop, and a run's going to score. Rasmus, a fly ball, broken bat single, and the Cardinals get one back. It's 6-3 for Rasmus's 41st RBI.
Well, you make the pitch you want to make and end the inning, get it over with, and then it comes back and does this. Shatter the bat, flip it enough that you got it right down the line, and again, Spielborg's playing about equal depth where he should be, and then all of a sudden he's dropped right in front of him.
And now you have to deal with Pujols.
41 RBIs now for Rasmus.
We told you yesterday Albert's lifetime average is 332. With runners in scoring position, it's 346 in his career. He takes a strike. Talk about consistency. In 9 of Albert's 10 seasons, he has hit the All-Star break with 20+ home runs and 60+ RBIs. And he's going to do it again this year. He's at 20 and 61 right now. 0 for 3 tonight, and he's behind 0 and 2. Runners at first and third. He almost got him to bite on a slider. He put that, George, right where he wanted to.
Down and away, working away from him. You saw that home run power graphic we showed you earlier. Everything up on the home run and away from him. Pretty good spot. He hadn't given up a home run yet, down and away.
Rogers has a plus fastball. Do you dare try to get one in above the hands, or do you go away again with the slider?
Yeah, he did just a minute ago, and he fouled it back off of the screen. Got it in just fine on it. And that is set in center of the home plate area.
They want it up, and it's pop foul out of play. 6 runs, 13 hits tonight for St. Louis. The Rockies 3 runs, 6 hits. Albert Pujols has an option year left on his contract next year. Swung on and missed. Esmil Rogers strikes out Pujols with 2 aboard. The Cardinals do get a run on 3 2-out singles. It is 6-3 as we go to the bottom of the 6th at Coors Field. 12-9 walk-off victory with your basic 9-run ninth inning. Coors Light frost-brewed freeze can from less than 24 hours ago. Rockies in the 6th inning down 3 runs. Chris Iannetta, Brad Eldred, and Clint Barmes. And Jaime Garcia misses with the curveball. It's ball 1. Actually, it was called a strike, so it's 0-2.
No, I think it's 1-1.
Do you think the scoreboard's wrong?
The scoreboard's wrong.
Okay.
It's 1-1. The first one was a ball.
Yeah, I never saw Gary Darling move the right arm. Yeah, you know, he's not going anywhere. So scoreboard has it as 0-3, which is never a good count. It's just a bad hitter's count. 0-3.
Oops. You hate to get in those counts.
It's a rough one. It takes a real talent to be able to stay at the plate when you have an 0-3 count. Okay, we've exhausted that. 1-2 on Iannetta.
I was just going to mention, I don't know what league you get to play in, but this one you get 3. You go sit down and grab some pine and get a drink and look for the next time.
Slow hook, 2-2.
Coach pitch.
Coach pitch, you're
5
good.
pitches.
Yeah. 0-3, you're good.
You're still good.
0-6, you're good. But just don't miss that
seventh
one.
one's a doozy.
This is in the air to right field, pretty deep. Jay going back will make the catch. Let's check in with Mark Stout in our Colorado Payback Sideline report.
All right, guys, I came here today and I was intending to talk about Albert Pujols and how he'd only missed 1 game this year at first base, and how last year only 3 other guys started at first. And then when Todd Helton went on the DL, I figured, hey, let's see what the Rockies did. Well, I checked it out. Last year, the only 2 guys that started at first other than Helton were Garrett Atkins and Jason Giambi. This year, Giambi, Melvin Mora, and now, as of this game, the man at the plate, number 40, Brad Eldred. Eldred, of course, was up in the big leagues with the Pirates. You guys mentioned that, and played a few games when Jim Tracy managed there. Nearly 200 home runs in the minor leagues. But Todd Helton has been pretty much an Iron Man for this team, even comparing him to somebody like Albert Pujols, who, as I said, only missed 1 game so far this year. Guys?
Yeah, he has, talking about Eldred, got a 2-0 count, and he's got himself another hit. He's 2 for 3 in his Rockies debut. To finish Mark's story, he's got 196 minor league home runs and just under 2,900 minor league at-bats. And with the Pirates a couple of years ago, he hit a dozen home runs. He hit a home run about every 15 at-bats, which is a pretty good ratio. The problem is, George, he struck out about every 2 1/4 at bats.
Yes, it's a tough time, and I mean, he's gotten a couple of opportunities. Glad to see the young guy get another one and stick around long enough in the minor leagues to fight your way back.
Barmes has another hit, and that's a 14-game hitting streak, and that'll get the time run to the plate in Ian Stewart.
And I think it would get their bullpen going too, and it appears it will. The right-hander's up, starting to throw. This ball just tattooed by Barmes. When this thing came into home plate on the Hyundai cam, you can see it. Fastball, belt high, right over the center cut, and it's like, oh boy, let me swing it back.
And it's getting to that interesting period as Dave Duncan comes out, Jeff Hewson. One of the other strange things about the ball game last night, typically when you're up 9-2, you're not worried about wearing out your bullpen, but because of that 9-run night, so many pitchers were used for the Cardinals. Their closer threw almost 30 pitches. They don't have a full complement down there.
No, 5 guys used last night, as you mentioned. Franklin threw 28 pitches, 18 for strikes. McClellan came in the ball game, threw 17 pitches, pitched 1 inning, gave up a hit. But you're right, and Tony La Russa kind of decided, you know what, it's an opportunity to get each and every guy an inning. Well, it came back to haunt him because now they're a couple guys short out there.
Yeah, McClellan warming up to come into the ball game right now, as he was mentioned last night, through 16 pitches. The most Garcia has thrown in a game this year, 111, June the 16th versus Seattle.
And he misses with his 99th pitch down low. It's 1-0 on Stewart, who pinch hit last inning and ripped a 2-2 pitch up the middle to drive in a pair of runs.
16 starts. He's been over 105 times. We'd like to see him try to work out of this inning and then see what they can get done with it.
Well, Stewart had a pitch to lift and separate on. 1-1. Oh man, it's getting uglier. The Giants went for 2 at one point tonight, so they're up 15-1 on Milwaukee. Two and 1. Stewart with only 1 home run this year at Coors Field. Man, that's amazing here on July the 7th.
That was one against Boston.
That's worked again. Brad Eldred around third. The right fielder Jay falls. 6-4. Barman's first to third. Back come the Rockies. What a night for Stewart off the bench.
Yeah, when you play half the game and you get 3 RBIs and there's still 3 innings to go, it's a pretty good night. And that's what's happened for Ian Stewart. See what pitch he tries to go to again. It appears to be fastball, and he's trying to throw the ball in, yet that ball sailed away, and Stewart stayed right on it. Not a movement in that lower half, and the head stayed right on the pitch all the way in. A line drive to right field. Everything started to happen after that, too, as Jace fell down. John Jay does. In the outfield, from his knees, gets it back.
Matt Holliday for the second straight night. Hits one a mile. That made it 4-0 at that point. And the next hitter was John Jay. And he would go deep all over the auxiliary scoreboard and right. And it's 5-0. But the Rockies got a base hit for the pinch hitter Ian Stewart to drive in 2 the next inning. And then Melvin Mora battling from behind in the count, an RBI hit. And just a moment ago, it's Stewart again who stayed in the ballgame at third base. And now Dexter Fowler back live, lays one down. The throw to first is just in time to get Fowler. But he moves the runner to second base, Stewart, and now with a single, the Rockies have a chance to tie it up.
Well, not a bad idea. Everybody playing back. Unfortunately, that ball hit right in front of the home plate area and popped up. Molina checked the runner at third base. Notice he was not coming to the plate. So that ball hit right on the plate or in the front of it, popped out in front, and you'll see a rotation. McClellan came to the home plate area.
He was trying to drag that one with him.
McClellan, hard sinker, good slider, throws strikes typically.
Johnny Herrera, 2 hits tonight. And that sinker comes back over the inside corner for a strike. Barnes at third. Ian Stewart, representing the tying run, is at second base. Rockies hitting in the sixth. And a ground ball up the middle. Green's throw is in time to get Herrera. So the Rockies get a run on the base hit by Stewart. It is 6-4. Tomorrow afternoon, pretty fair matchup on the hill. Ubaldo Jimenez against Chris Carpenter. And then on the weekend, the Padres are here Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And the Rockies will have the extended All-Star break this year. They won't play Thursday either. So they'll restart in the second half Friday in Cincinnati, Ohio. Matt Holliday against Esmil Rogers, and the first pitch misses, ball one. With George Frazier, Jeff Houston, and Mark Stout, I'm Drew Goodman. Matt Holliday, single, double, home run, and he scored 3 runs tonight. We've seen Matt get on these tears. He had one a couple of weeks ago during interleague play. They were playing in Oakland. 4 home runs in that Oakland series.
And he didn't really want to show Oakland that they'd made a mistake, because I don't think he really wanted to stay there.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of players come back. They play with a little bit of vengeance on the deal. And
you see that was off Chris's mask, and then it went about 30 feet in the air. Wow.
Well, the Honeycam really slows it down, but it was so loud even off the bat and then the mask.
2-2, and that's hit the center field and deep. Fowler's going to run out of room. I think Holliday's locked in. 4 for 4, 2 jacks. And the Cardinals get the run back. 7-4. He's been a one-man wrecking crew tonight.
Curveball both times.
Yep. I still don't understand it. I mean, Matt's a great hitter, but we've seen him hit the vast majority of his home runs, guys, and more than half have come on breaking balls.
Well, I would say a lot more than half, about 85%. And it's like last night, the at-bat going against Shashin. He tells him a fastball, he looks silly on it, he goes, all right, I'm really going to trick you with this curveball. He sets hitters up or pitchers up. He looks for patterns of what they do, and he totally destroys you.
ball, 2 strikes on John Jay. He's had a perfect night. 2 singles and a home run. And this is fairly well hit left center field. Fowler's got a long run with Cargo. Look at it.
The taller guy got it.
I wasn't worried about that. You know what I was worried about.
The big collision, because they both put their hands up at the same time. And it's so loud out there, and you can't hear each other. They both watch their hands go up. I got it, I got it. And in the last instant, fortunately, Carlos backed off and let Dexter catch it. Oh, you can see Carlos on the Hyundai cam close his eyes because he's afraid there's going to be contact.
And this will be an easier play for Fowler. Molina lines to Dexter, 2 outs. Tyler Green coming up. And here's Jim Wright talking to Esmil Rogers before he entered the ball game.
Taking it 1 pitch at a time, right? 1 out at a time, just like you always do. You'll be fine. Don't worry about how long you're going to be out there, right? You just make your pitches.
Jimmy's a positive guy, such a good guy. He's been around this game a long time, and he, at one time, early in his career, was exceptionally well thought of. He threw 2 minor league no-hitters. He hurt his arm, George. Hurt his arm badly.
I was at the game in 1978, pitching against the Cardinals in a B game, and threw a fastball. And when he did, he fractured the arm so bad that it was sticking out of his skin. They had it fixed, tried to come back, and then in 1981 was back with Kansas City a couple of times. But he was very well thought of. There was a guy in the Philly organization at the time named Ron Reed that was very successful, big, tall. Jimmy was a lot like Ron Reed.
I don't know if you can tell sometimes on television. Jim Wright, as George has described it, he's a big, big, strong man. Makes his home in Peoria, Illinois. Here's the 1-2. Bounces up there. Jim was telling me before the ball game, I said, have you ever seen a comeback like that in the 9th inning? So the only time I did, he was the pitching coach with the Iowa Cubs, and he said it was a 5-0 lead. We had a 5-0 lead. He's talking about Iowa, and that pitch just missed. There's 2 outs in the 9th inning, and there's an 0-2 count on the hitter at the plate, and he ended up losing 6-5.
Not a good day. Guarantee you, not a good day.
Swung on and missed, so Esmil Rogers gets Tyler Green. But Matt Holliday strikes again on a 3-2 hook. He hit it over the center field wall, his 3rd home run in 24 hours. They have 14 hits tonight. As we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, the Rockies will have Carlos Gonzalez and then a pinch hitter, Seth Smith, in the on-deck circle, and Ryan Spilborghs. All right, our Breaks Plus text your answer to 95323, our poll of the game. Did you see the entire game? 83% say yes, 17% saying, you know what, we went to bed early when it went to 9-2. George,
they're honest.
Huey, do you believe, now this is our second question of the night, text me, do you believe the 83%? Pretty high number.
I had a lot of people say they were kind of watching it off and on, and then when the 9th inning came around, they put their attention a lot more to the game.
You know what? I hope the number's right on, and that just shows how true they are as Rockies fans. And they know you never quit, because you never know what will happen, especially with this club and some of the comebacks they've had the last few years. McClellan continuing, 1-2 count on Cargo, a double in 3 trips tonight. New shortstop Brendan Ryan is in the ballgame defensively, and even up swap for Tyler Green.
Kyle McClellan came on earlier the other inning, 34 appearances now in 38 innings.
That's 3-2. Again, Seth Smith in the on-deck circle. Rockies double switched a couple innings ago when Rogers came aboard, so when Mora left, the pitcher moved into the 4-hole. 3-2 on Gonzalez, and a base hit up the middle. Another multi-hit ball game for Cargo, 6 hits in this series, and here comes Seth Smith. Listen to the crowd. So Smith with Gonzalez at first. You think there's anybody in that Cardinal dugout that's comfortable right now?
Nope, nobody. I can guarantee you that, because they're sitting there going, "Oh, it's only a 3-run lead."
High ball 1. Jim Tracy on Seth Smith after the ball game last night.
He's a big game at bat guy, and you can't teach things like that. I can promise you that. But what I'm very impressed with regard to Seth Smith is how things were going in the early part of the season and some of the adjustments that he's made offensively, where he's now hitting the breaking ball enough where you can't just throw that thing in there, because he'll hit that now too. And we all know what kind of fastball hitter he is. But if he can hit the breaking ball enough like he's doing right now, then he's right back where he was last year, where every at bat he takes, something really good is capable of happening.
In the air to center field, Rasmus will make the catch, and they're going to get Smith this time. 1 out, and that'll bring up Spilborghs. Rockies still have Brad Hopp and Jason Giambi for late in the ball game, and Miguel Olivo if necessary. Eight outs to work with offensively, trailing by 3 runs. Cardinals chasing the Reds in the National League Central, and Cincinnati won in New York tonight 3-1.
Well, the first 25,000 fans through the gates on July 9th, they're going to receive Rockies rewards coupons. So make sure you come to the ball game then with San Diego in town. The first 25,000.
And this is a broken bat flare. It's got to get down. Rasmus makes a great catch, and that's the first time in the series where his shallow alignment really pays off, Jeff Houston.
Well, that's because he didn't have to go very far, because that was a broken bat right off the end of Ryan Spilborg's bat.
Here's our Home Depot doing more on defense. You just saw it. Kobe Rasmus taking a base hit away from Ryan Spilborg's, and that prevents the tying run from coming up in Chris Iannetta.
Reminded me of Jim Edmonds, some of the plays he used to make. By the way, the last 5 games that Iannetta's played in, 7 RBIs, the 19 previous, 5 RBIs. Starting to get hot again.
0 for 3 tonight. Hit the ball on the ground twice to Felipe Lopez at third, and also a fly ball to right field. Outside. Kyle McClellan is a Missouri native. He's in a battle for the 5th starter spot in the rotation back in spring training. Didn't win that job. And it's a broken bat roller to Ryan. Rockies are done in the 7th. Carlos Gonzalez left the board after a lead single. 7 for Cards. Institute in Denver, where you can make the world your workplace. Cardinals got 2 runs against Aaron Cook in the 1st. They added a run in the 3rd. A couple of solo home runs against Cook in the 5th inning. But the Rockies have battled back with 4 in the middle innings. 7-4 our scores. We turn the page to inning number 8. Rockies have a new pitcher on the hill. They also have a new right fielder. Seth Smith stays in the ball game. Ryan Spilborg's comes out. The new pitcher's Matt Belisle.
As we look at Belisle's numbers, very good on the season. 39th appearance, 270. Opposition hitting 225 against him. Importantly, 53 punch-outs and 50 innings pitched.
The 8-hole, or the pitcher's spot, in the lineup with how Tony La Russa does things. So Nick Stavinoa, who started last night, will pinch hit. And then it'll be Skip Schumacher. First pitch from Matt Belisle is swung on and fouled straight back. 0-1. And that is paint on the outside corner at 93. Sometimes they'll say, Jeff, what in the dugout? I got Rembrandted.
And that's what he just got.
Oh, catch by Stewart. I don't know how much higher he can go. He robs Stabenoa of at least a single.
The second time this year now we've seen Ian Stewart go up high, climb the ladder to go get that line drive. And remember with Ian, too, he uses a smaller glove, one like a shortstop or a second baseman. He doesn't use that big glove like a lot of third basemen use.
Well, all about timing and hang time.
33,251 in the house, just slightly under 33,000 last night. 1-1 on Schumacher. Make sure you get on out tomorrow afternoon. Tell the boss you have a doctor's appointment. Chris Carpenter, Ubaldo Jimenez tomorrow. 1-out base knock for Schumacher, his second hit of the night. He also has been aboard on a walk. Repair that chip in your windshield. Call Safelite Elite Auto Glass, 303-287-5000, or online at safelite.com. Felipe Lopez is 2 for 4. Kyle McClellan did a good job, an inning and 2/3 of scoreless relief. Mitchell Boggs, it looks like, will be next for Tony La Russa. La Russa was saying in the paper, well, he actually said it, he didn't say it in the paper today because he said it this afternoon. It'll be in the papers tomorrow in the St. Louis area, that if he had to do it all over again, even with the 9-3 lead and Coors Field not typically playing like it did in the pre-Humidor days, he would have had Ryan Franklin to start the inning.
Well, that's something he's always done. His closers start the ninth even with a 6-run lead. He's done that a lot of times. Dennis Eckersley started that with 1989 with him when he made him into a closer in Oakland. And they obviously did a great job with it. And that's something Tony said. You know, when a club fights that long, I mean, if it's 15-1 like right now in San Francisco and Milwaukee, that's a whole other story. But why get something created and have a mess on the base paths and hope he can come clean it up? Let them create their own mess and get out of the mess. A lot of people like to question Tony La Russa and his methods and what he does baseball-wise and why he stands behind certain people. And folks, to win the number of games he's won, he's pretty good at what he does.
The Hall of Fame manager. Whether you like him or not from afar, he gives his team night in and night out the best opportunity to win, similar to what Jim Tracy's done.
Well, the other thing, he's very loyal to his coaching staff. And with the exception of Hal McRae, who was there for quite a while. And then he opened it up for one of his best friends in all of baseball, Mark McGwire.
Pulled through the hole for a base hit. Stopping at second base is Schumacher. Lopez with his 3rd hit of the night. And they're 2 on for Kobe Rasmus, and Bob Apodaca will have to go out. And you got to give the Cardinals credit. I mean, last night was probably a long night and a short night in terms of sleep for St. Louis after that 9-run ninth the Rockies put on them. But tonight they've bounced back, Jeff Easton, with 7 runs on 16 hits.
Well, it started with the first batter of the ball game, too, Felipe Lopez, and just really snowballed from there. 5 hits in that first inning against Darren Cook. And every inning since then, other than the second inning, they have, and the fourth, they've scored.
Kobe Rasmus. An RBI single in the 6th. Also a single back in the 1st. Other than the pitcher, can you name the one player in the Cardinal lineup who does not have a hit tonight? Miss.
Don't say that too loud.
He was pretty good, but I'm not going to bring that subject up right now. That's the baseball side of Jeff and I coming out as superstition.
He who will not be named.
But seen in that picture.
You just don't want to be heard from.
Right. This is hit to deep center, but it's playable for Dexter. Tagging up is Schumacher. He'll move up. Lopez thought about it and shut it down halfway to second base. So there are 2 outs. And Belisle will face that man, Albert Pujols. Take a look at the Amica hit zone on Pujols. It's not how you're covered, it's how you're treated. Amica.
Well, even the bat's pretty good, except for that hard slider down and away, likes the ball middle half in. Above the hands if you're ahead in the count.
Hit into a 6-4-3 double play in the 1st. A run scored because it was 1st and 3rd. Ground out to short. A little flare to second and a strikeout. Esmil Rogers got him. And they're going to get him again. Smith and Fowler, and it's Seth Smith. So Pujols is 0 for 5, but his teammates have been very good tonight. 7-4. Of the 8th inning, the Rockies will have Brad Eldred to lead off. Well, learn the game of baseball the blue-collar way with Clint Farmas on Rockies All Access. That's tomorrow night at 7. You'll get to know Clint even better and see why he is so well thought of on and off the field for the Colorado Rockies. That's Rockies All Access tomorrow at 7 p.m. right here on FSN Rocky Mountain. The Cardinals now have Mitchell Boggs on the hill. He's one of the few who did not appear for St. Louis yesterday. Mitchell Boggs, a former starter, University of Georgia product. He throws very, very hard. Starts out with a slider, and that's, you're going to get 1 of 2 pitches with Boggs, George. It's the heater or the slider.
Average fastball speed, slider, last 89. Appearance 33rd. Opposition hitting just 212 over 35 in the 3rd innings.
Brad Eldred hammers one to left, and he's got his 3rd hit of the night. And falling down is Matt Holliday. And Eldred, with the Rockies trailing by 3 runs, will stop at second. Jeff Houston's pretty nice debut for Brad Eldred. 3 bullets tonight after that strikeout in his first appearance.
Well, especially when you didn't show up to the ballpark till about 90 minutes before game time because you're just flying in from Fresno. He gets that fastball 96 miles an hour up, and he just hammered this ball. Matt thought he might have a play on it, and then it went off that wall. He slipped out there. That ball was loud.
The only reason it wasn't up on the concourse is he got slightly he got a little more of the top half of the ball. Varmus inside ball one. That thing was loud. And I go back to the story Dexter Fowler was telling about Eldred, talking about all the home runs, and I said, yeah, he does strike out quite a bit. And he said, you know what, when I was down there, he said he didn't strike out much. He said when they got him out, it was a line drive at somebody.
I remember watching him just take batting practice in Pittsburgh a couple of years. Watched him in spring training, Goodyear, hitting it over the top of the fence, up the berm, and through some trees that were on top of that berm.
It's a ground ball up the middle. And did they get him? No, they did. Brendan Ryan with a good throw just in time to get Clint Varmus. One out.
Albert moved his feet very nicely on that to allow that to be an out for the Cardinals.
They sure did on the Hyundai cam. You can see as he steps, he plants and pushes out to get the distance to catch the baseball. And it is right at the very end of that glove.
Ian Stewart with his third at bat upcoming. He came into the ball game as a pinch hitter for Aaron Cook in the 5th inning. Singled in 2. Stayed in the ball game for Melvin Moore. Came up the next inning and singled in a run. So he's 2 for 2 with 3 RBIs. And Tony La Russa is not going to allow Mitchell Boggs to face him. He's going to take the rock from Boggs, and they're going to go to Trevor Miller. Brad Eldred a lead double. Ian Stewart will face Trevor Miller. Who wants tacos? Fans, if you'd like to receive text message alerts when the Rockies score 7 or more runs for the Rockies taco special, text the keyword taco to 95323. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell. So Miller was on last night. He'll face Ian Stewart here. Miller faced 2 hitters last night. He gave up 2 hits and an earned run. You got to figure he's the only lefty available. Dennis Reyes threw a lot of pitches last night.
Typically, this is a guy that's been pretty good, and it's been very good against left-handers. 8 holes. He's inherited 28 base runners, and 5 have scored. 79% first batter efficiency.
Inside, 2-0 on Stewart. Dexter Fowler on deck. Rockies trying to come from behind for the second straight night against St. Louis. Looking for their third straight dramatic win, going back to the 4-3 15-inning win on Sunday. Buggy whip swing, no baseball. It's 2-1.
Buggy whip throw too. I mean, he throws that big sweeping slider at you, and he throws a big cutter at you, and it's a low 3/4 arm angle.
Three and one.
Photo day coming up at the ballpark July 10th. Take the photos with your favorite players and coaches. Gates open at 3:30 for photo day.
Three and two.
This is where Ian really has to stay on this lefty, because he's going to come with something a little low 3/4, whether it's the 88-mile-an-hour fastball or that slider. Got to keep that front shoulder in.
Ball 4. And a tying run comes up in Dexter Fowler. He'll hit from his natural right-handed side of the plate.
I'll say that pitch to Ian Stewart, it is inside. I mean, they wanted the fastball in and wanted to prevent him from extending his hands. That was a little bit better at bat.
And Tony La Russa looking frustrated again. Miller's faced 3 hitters in this series, and he hasn't retired any of them.
He's not going to get another opportunity either.
Probably going to be Mott. He's the guy that's going to have to close ball games tonight. Tony's going to go ahead and get him.
This is becoming less strategy and more trips to the mound out of frustration. He's just not getting out of his bullpen what he has by and large throughout the year. I mean, this bullpen, one of the top 3 by ERA in the National League, entering Coors Field yesterday afternoon. So here comes Mott, 7-4, 2 aboard, 1 out for the Rockies. One out in the bottom of the 8th inning. That's Brad Eldred, called up today. And Todd Helton was placed on the disabled list. He has 3 hits tonight, including a lead double here in the 8th inning. And Ian Stewart just walked a moment ago. So the new pitcher is Jason Mott. He appeared last night in the ball game. He was about the only guy who had success out of the bullpen. He pitched a clean 7th inning. Inside on Dexter Fowler. Fowler tonight is 0 for 3 and a sacrifice.
Big time numbers. Opponents average 197. Very hard fastball. He'll run 95, touch triple digits at times. Only giving up 4 home runs. Doesn't walk a lot of people. 36 punch outs.
He's behind 2-0.
I think he'll end up being the closer at some point if he could just kind of master his emotions. He gets pretty emotional on the mound and sometimes a little over amplified.
Kind of like Papelbon in the way he reacts out there sometimes.
Got a question for you guys after this pitch. Swung on and missed. The Rockies right now are thin up the middle. Johnny Herrera's on deck. He's got 2 hits tonight. You'd like to see Brad Hopp with the ability to tie it up. Can you go in that direction if you're Jim Tracy?
I think you can, because you still have Chris Iannetta, who you can slide over to third base, put Ian at second.
3-1.
You might only get 1 shot at it.
Thinking about Giambi too. Either way with it, you can go with Giambi.
Well, you got to save somebody for that. You know, for the 9th inning, or maybe it's later on this inning. The 5 hole's where the pitcher's spot is.
Well, I understand, but if you take Giambi and let him hit, Stu still goes to second base. Well, Iannetta out and leave it behind the plate. But if you want to put Giambi over to 1 shot at first base, you can do that too.
Good swing by Dexter Fowler. He was right on that fastball at 97, so it's 3-2.
It's all pretty hard. 99 to get your attention and settled on back end to 96 and 97.
Well, when you're at the plate, Jeff Houston, you at least know what's coming.
Well, and what you really have to do, too, is kind of key down a little bit, because he's going to supply the power. And sometimes with a power pitcher, you think you have to swing harder, and it's just the opposite.
Here's the 3-2. This ball hit high and deep right center field. It is gone! Watch out!
Oh, my. Dexter's second home run this year.
That was hit like a left-handed slugger.
98 miles an hour on this fastball. Dexter gets his hands back and his foot, timing everything, and as soon as he hit it, everybody in the dugout, everybody here knew it was gone. I was watching Albert Pujols too, and he's just kind of shaking his head going, I can't believe this is happening again.
Johnny Herrera with 1 out, and Mott misses by a couple of feet.
Well, now you don't have to worry about who's going to pinch hit and who's going to play second and all that, because now you got Johnny trying to get on base, and you still have Carlos hitting behind him.
Here's the 1-0 on the corner. I asked Dexter earlier tonight, natural right-handed hitter. Coming out of high school, he had never switched hit. I said, which side do you have more pop on? I assumed the right side. He said, actually, now I have more pop on the left side. I guess so. 1-2.
Look on the Hyundai, of course, this pitch, too, down where left-handers like it. Dexter just squared this thing up. I mean, it had that sound when it left the bat. You knew it was going to happen. You just chuckle to yourself. I mean, this is unbelievable magic going on in Lodo right now.
Crazy stuff. 6 straight games, the Rockies have produced at least a dozen hits. That has never happened before in Colorado Rockies history. I mean, you go back to the mid-90s, you go back to the Blake Street Bombers. Never have the Rockies had 6 straight games with at least a dozen hits. Last home run for Dexter Fowler, April 28th against Arizona, 95 at-bats ago. Those are big league at-bats. He spent a month down in AAA. Good eye by Johnny Herrera. It's 2-2. Tony La Russa, I think, would love to be anywhere in baseball other than Coors Field right now and playing the Colorado Rockies. They have lost 9 of 10. And this is to left center field. It's got to get down. It will. Rockies have the go-ahead run at first. And here comes Carlos Gonzalez.
I talked about their pitching staff, how good their bullpen has been. Well, the Rockies hitters, this offense you've waited so long for has come to life with Johnny Herrera capping off Dexter Fowler's 3-run home run to keep things going. With just 1 out in the ballgame.
Cargo steps in. Herrera at first base and 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. Ball 1. Last 10 games between the Rockies and Cardinals. The Rockies have won 9 of 10. And look at the runs late in the ball game. 38-11 from the 7th inning on. The Rockies have outscored the Cardinals by 27. And they don't look like they're done tonight.
Well, the Rockies, you're going to have Houston Street pitch the 9th inning. He's warming up down in the bullpen right now.
Tonight, the Rockies spotted the Cardinals a 5-run lead. Last night, it was a 7-run lead. Cargo, line shot off of the glove. And no play, and it's thrown away. Here goes Herrera to third. And Seth Smith coming up. A rocket off of Jason Mott. 3rd hit of the night for Cargo. And then an error on Mott, throwing the ball past Albert Pujols.
Holy cow. Ill guy's throw by Mott, but you're obviously trying to get out to the tied score. This is a bullet right at him. You're going to take it off of the glove. Then when he slides to get to the baseball, barehand by Albert. Albert gives chase to the baseball. And then he ends up grabbing a hold of this thing when it's shot off of that wall. He's going to try to barehand it because Herrera is running to short, third base.
And guess who's coming up?
I'm looking over there to see maybe if Tony La Russa might walk him.
Yeah, wouldn't you know it? Mr. Late Night stepping in. Seth Smith in a 7-7 ball game. 1 out. The go-ahead run at third. Carlos Gonzalez is at first. Here comes Dave Duncan. I don't know what advice he can offer Jason Mott right now.
I think it's just a matter of trying to calm him down a little bit after that line drive screamer back to him and then the throwing error.
And Jeff and George, this is the perfect matchup again for Smith, because if it's hard, he's better. He is a dead red fastball hitter.
You better believe it. Last night, he's the hero tonight. That pitch, a changeup, split finger that stayed up in the strike zone, and he sent it to the seats.
He is short to the baseball, and one of the best fastball hitters around. And Jason Mott is going to come after you with 95-mile-an-hour plus heat. Infield's halfway up the middle. Ball 1. And the amazing thing about Smith is his ability to focus and slow things down in situations like this.
Slow heartbeat.
And he did it from the moment he arrived in 2007 during that great run to the World Series. Here's the 1-0. Fouled off, out of play.
Oh my, that was a good swing.
Herrera is at third base with 1 out. Holiday and Jay, the two corner outfielders, are fairly deep. Rasmus, typical of how he plays, moderate depth. The 1-1. Good pitch by Mott. He got it in on the hands. 1-2. Giambi has come out in the on-deck circle. The pitcher spot is next. Tied at 7. In a game the Rockies trailed 5-0. And he got another pitch up to his liking and fouled it straight back. 96-mile-an-hour heater. Seth Smith out of Ole Miss. Second-round pick of the Rockies. There are 2 outs. And here comes Giambi, who had a huge hit in last night's 9th inning heroics.
They want to elevate the fastball, and he hit right where they wanted. He chased it. You see they worked him up in the strike zone the entire at bat.
Infield can drop back. 2 outs. Runners at first and third. Giambi at the plate.
I think somebody forgot to tell Jason Mott that Albert Pujols had moved back about 15 feet.
Giambi 308 with runners in scoring position, 8 for 26.
Yeah, big swing and a miss.
98-mile-an-hour heater.
Giambi, 1 game shy of 2,000 in his career.
Hyundai Kim, I just want to see if he got over it or under it. Got under it about a grain on the bat.
Stayed off that pitch, 1-1. Rockies 3 across in the 8th inning. A game-tying 3-run home run from Dexter Fowler. The second of the year, his first since late April. One and two. Giambi then tied up. Mott working ahead. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, now it's 1-2. If I was Carlos, I'd go ahead and go to second base on this.
Not going. And high snap throw. Yadier Molina was thinking along with you, Jeff Houston, figuring he would go, and once he wandered too far off, they tried to backdoor him.
Well, he's one of the best in it, George.
34 picks, what, in the last 2 years? Yeah, he's pretty good. He's unbelievable back here. Check swing didn't go, and then Molina just snapped throw. And I wonder if they worked out a lot like the backdoor play, Jeff, that's short in daylight.
Yep, because you can see Albert moving in even before that pitch was delivered. You know, one thing that does, though, that creates a hole. He's moving.
And Giambi goes down swinging. Mott did a terrific job. He strikes out Smith and Giambi to keep the game tied. Dexter Fowler. Hope to be another raucous celebration in Center's Field later on tonight. Tom?
We always hope so, and of course we'll be talking about the comeback kids once again. Also Dex in effects, Dexter Fowler with his second home run of the season, but what a huge home run it was. And also we'll get you down into the clubhouse to talk about who's on first. Brad Eldred, huge night tonight for Colorado. All that's coming up on the postgame report. Drew?
We anxiously look forward to it with hundreds more who want to join you in center field. Dexter Fowler, a 3-run home run to get things tied at 7. And now Houston Street will take over in the 9th inning for the Rockies. And the first subject he will face will be a guy that he was traded for, part of a package that he was traded for, Matt Holliday, who has had an unbelievable evening. Single and a run scored in the first. Double and a run scored in the third. Home run in the 5th. Home run in the 7th.
Never have faced each other since the trade. Amazing. 8th appearance for Houston. Very good earned run average. You see the big number for me. No walks. Opposition hitting $172.
And the first pitch misses, ball 1. Here's Matt's 13th home run of the year. Came off Farron Cook on a sinker. And then he got a breaking ball from Esmil Rogers and hit it out to dead center. Here's the 1-0. And this ball is going to stay in the ballpark. Off the bat. He had the barrel to the baseball, Jeff Houston. He just missed that by a grain.
He did. Just got underneath it just a little bit, but that ball was a mile high in the sky.
Oh, you see on the Hyundai cam, trying to throw another sinker, but he got it in a little bit. Holliday knew he'd missed it as soon as he hit it. It's just a mile and a half high up into the air. You see him start to toss his bat away. Finally got him out.
No swing on John Jay. Jay's had a big night. Couple of singles. He's hit a home run. One time the Rockies retired him. It was on a deep drive to left center field when Fowler and Gonzalez almost collided. Iannetta sets up away, and the fastball is away, but it's a little bit higher than I think Houston wanted it. 1 ball and 1 strike. Good pitch. Downshifted on him, George.
Change up 82 miles an hour. Just waiting to see the velocity on it. The location was outstanding. It's a big old move. I mean, it's a little bit up, but it had a big side move to it with a little bit of sink late.
Now they'll set up off the plate. 1-2, change up again. John Jay did not bite. Yadier Molina's on deck. Rockies in the bottom of the 9th will have Chris Iannetta, Brad Eldred, and Clint Barmas. Here's the 2-2. 3-2.
I wouldn't be surprised if he gets on if they don't try a hit and run and create a little offense. This last pitch off the plate, 3 to 4 inches outside, very outside of the plate.
Strike 3. Change up on the outside corner. 2 outs.
Monday, Cam, it's all about putting this ball where you need to. Look at him really roll over the top of that changeup, create some movement. Chris able to hold it, freeze it, get the call from Gary Darling.
I think Gary's had a very fair strike zone tonight, too.
Both sides.
Yeah.
Consistent.
Very consistent. That's why he's the crew chief.
Here's Molina. High, ball 1. Well, look out at the crowd tonight, folks. We'll show you a picture. Last night, by this time, there were a lot of empty seats. Nobody is going anywhere tonight. Half-hearted swing by Molina on a 91-mile-an-hour sinking fastball on the black. It's 1-1. 7 runs, 16 hits, a pair of errors for St. Louis. 7 runs, 14 hits, no errors for Colorado. High heat, 93. That's one of the better fastballs, George, we've seen since Houston's come back.
Mostly 90, 91, and then now all of a sudden pop up 93. Obviously getting some arm strength and feeling better about what he's doing.
One and two. On the ground to second. Johnny Herrera to Brad Aldridge. Let's go to the bottom of the ninth. The Rockies need just one. They got 9 last night at the bottom of the ninth.
Don't forget to go to your participating Colorado Taco Bell locations tomorrow between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies Tacos Special. Well, how about this story, George? Evan McClain is the new pitcher in the bottom of the ninth for St. Louis. Who's Evan McClain, you ask? Well, he just got his first ticket to the big leagues this afternoon. This is his major league debut.
Well, nothing against this, but I have no idea where Feather Ridge Community College is. It's in Spring Garden, California, but I didn't know that. Tucson, Arizona, where he resides. I mean, his contract was purchased in an outright trade for the Reno Aces, Arizona, on April the 25th, 2009. He's been around a while. He's been with Tucson the last 3 or 4 years, had not got to the big leagues. Pitched well in 24 starts last year for Memphis, and here you go.
George, he's been a starting pitcher in Memphis. 17 starts this year, 5-7, a 4.47 ERA.
Well, Tony likes to have 2 left-handers in his bullpen because Reyes threw so many pitches last night. I don't think comfortable to use him tonight. He got the other lefty up.
Well, you dream about your first assignment in the big leagues, Jeff Houston. I don't know if this is how you want to make it, though.
Well, maybe Tony thought, you know what, my bullpen's not doing anything. I'll go with the young guy, see what he's got.
8 years he's toiled in the minor leagues. Chris Iannetta leading things off. He's 0 for 4. Tied at 7, bottom of the 9th inning.
203 games appeared in the minor leagues, 171 starts.
2-0. Brad Eldred is on deck. He's 3 for 4.
Well, obviously, Eldred's seen him sometime this year.
That's a strike.
Playing in a PCL with Memphis. He's in Colorado Springs. You got a puzzled look, partner.
It's my general 9th inning look. Here's the 2-1.
What's going to happen next?
3-1. walk-off home run already this year. Pulled the string. 3-2.
You know, older guys that have been around in the minor leagues have been around for a while. And you mentioned 171 starts, 203 appearances. They're not affected to where they think the fastball situation is just dead fastball all the time.
High in the air, deep left field. Way back. It's done again.
Thing of beauty. Welcome to the big leagues.
8-7 winners, Colorado. Chris Iannetta. Don't get hurt. This is some kind of week, huh, partners?
Unbelievable. You couldn't script this in Hollywood any better than this.
They spotted him 7 last night. They win with a 9-run ninth inning. The Rockies spotted the Cardinals a 5-run lead tonight, and they win at 8-7. Chris Iannetta, 5th walk-off home run for the Rockies this year. Iannetta's 2nd, and their 3rd straight walk-off win. Street the winner. Evan McClain in his major league debut on the 6th pitch is the loser.